Take notes.
You're going to believe.
In the corrupted.
All that and more.
Cody, put Mike Tyson into hypersleep.
Mr. Tyson, please close your mouth and go in the chamber.
Just step in there. It's not gonna fucking...
Okay.
Good. He's in there?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, he's good.
All right.
Sleep.
Believe it or not, you'll sleep like Ripley. You're welcome.
Yay.
Yay, that just came to me.
I didn't have to punch him.
Right? I can't believe he actually... You think he may have learned his lesson by now?
I'm sure he has.
I hope so.
Because he's going to be asleep for a long time.
A long motherfucking time. Hi!
Greetings.
Welcome to episode 33 of the Super Media Brothers podcast. I am Midnight Agent Raw.
And I'm Okami.
How you guys doing out there?
I'm feeling sleepy.
I'm feeling sleepy too.
Hypersleep.
Hypersleep. Well, wake the fuck up because it's...
Bam!
Yeah! Bam! Because it is the return of our For Your Reviewing Pleasure series. This is the third fucking entry in this sumbitch.
And what an entry will it be?
That's right. Today...
It will be.
Oh, it will be. And it's
will.
Will be!
I have no grammar because I'm tired.
No grammar. Will not take shit from you.
Just take notes.
That's right.
Of my shit.
Gross.
Anyway.
Yeah. On this episode, on this installment... We are going to be featuring Notaker's latest EP from Mousetrap called EREBUS I, or EREBUS I.
However you want to call it.
You know. Yeah.
And boy, what a drastic improvement from the last couple of releases and his last EP, mind you. So
yeah,
definitely an enjoyable journey audio-wise and imagination-wise.
Fuck yeah. And when we say improvement, it's not that the last few releases were terrible by any means of the imagination. It's just like when you're able to watch and see an artist's progression from, one stage in their career, to this stage, which is, again, like we've said before, this was, between he and I, we've talked about this, several times since its release. This was out of left field.
Really?
Like, big fucking time.
Like, you go from the very space journey base with what was that one called?
Genesis.
I couldn't think for a second. I blanked. And it had a very wholesome, very adventure odyssey kind of feel to it overall. Then you get a song like Too Smooth, which was a complete what the hell is this, but I still enjoy it kind of feel. Then, like you mentioned earlier, you had this feeling of maybe he's trying something new. He's trying to go a different route with his music. Hopefully we'll see more like this. And then EREBUS I pops and it's dark.
Really fucking
ambiance.
Dark. I mean, dark enough that Mousetrap releases it, which
right.
makes all the fucking sense in the world. It
is so dark that their lead single, Corrupted, is all font fucked up, and it's so cool.
It's fonked up.
It's font up.
But before we jump into the meat of this, we're going to talk about a release from Notaker's other label that he's released on, Monstercat.
Mm-hmm.
Volume 5, Uncaged Volume 5 just dropped.
Wow.
Meow, motherfucker.
And this one's a pretty solid, overall album from the last couple.
Yeah. What were some of your favorite tracks that have come out?
Boy, the introduction of Kill Paris with Two Minds.
That song was so fucking good. Is so fucking good.
It's a weird mixture from that heavy kind of dubstep sound with more of that calming ambiance with the vocals and the, off-putting parts. And the vocals were really good. I like that song a lot. I was surprised. And then, of course, our favorite, Slander with Crank Dad, and of all people, Asking Alexandria.
Yeah, and it's funny. This was actually a co-release with Sumerian Records, which they are on. And I didn't expect this. When this album, or when this song dropped, the 9th, August 9th? Mm-hmm. Fuck, dude.
The last song before the release of the album, yeah.
dare I go out on a limb and say this, move over Dirty Phonics. You have a little bit of competition for your Vanta Black album.
Right, like you have this like hardcore compilation right here to kind of combat with your, Sully King compilation that you did. So it's definitely got some people on your trail there, buddy.
It's good.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention we had Coven come out with actually an EP recently that had a couple of songs come out on Monstercat. The one on here was Board Games, which is really fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
Another take with like the dark kind of heavy sound that they normally do. Let's see. Riot had 2 songs, AWA and
The Mob, right?
The Mob, which AWA's fucking great.
Oh, hell
that
yeah.
very like Saharan, Arabian kind of dubstep sound.
Mm-hmm.
I love that song so much.
And I still love Damn Floor by Matroda.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good break kind of song right there. But
also Boom Bop's on there too.
Yes, sir.
Is that Erebus I coming over us?
I don't know. Holy shit.
We gotta believe.
Motherfucker,
Believe.
you better believe.
Also, Slippy came out with Monster with Goja and Panther.
Yeah, I was actually about to mention that track.
My favorite track by him, hands down. Like, this is beyond everything else he's released in the past, so really, really appreciate that one.
I know 2 tracks that stood out for me. One of it, dude, we have all kind of motherfuckers coming for our
Dude,
ass.
he's landing right now, ready to, start this introduction of his album.
We're gonna get to you, we promise. So Paradigm by Bad Computer with Kara, who was actually a featured vocalist on Dave's other album,
Who
Genesis.
I Am. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fucking wonderful.
Yep.
And of course, Bear Grylls with Sullivan King.
Wicked.
God damn, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's out now. Was there anything else that came to mind for this?
There was Boss Fight.
Fuck yes.
3 songs. Okay, we had Work, we had Sovereign, and then the return of probably one of my favorite artists on Monstercat, Falcon Funk. He did a compilation
Funk
with Comeback, which is ironic. But yeah, it went from like Work was pretty like dope trap kind of dubstep, and then Sovereign was just very like hard hitting dubstep, and then here comes this like glitch hop with Comeback. I was like, oh, bringing back a dead genre basically.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and once more another appearance from Sullivan King on In the Night by Muzzy.
Yeah, night.
Which that
Mana.
fuck yeah. Which that EP is actually going to get featured here in a couple weeks when we do the 4th installment of the 4-Year Reviewing Pleasure.
The Cascade.
Fuck yes. I think that's all I got for that.
Yeah, because I think somebody's getting impatient with the he's knocking on the door right now.
Motherfucker.
Ready to
He's ready. So I guess we'll get into it now. So as we are recording this, Dave is actually in Houston, Texas, performing at a show on BlackGummy's headlining tour.
That's Stereo Live, of our favorite place to go.
That's right, along with Declan James.
Mm-hmm.
And for all you Dallas listeners, we are recording this on a Friday night, so he's in our he's near our town tonight. You're going to be listening to this on a Saturday, hopefully. So all of our Dallas listeners, BlackGummy, Notaker, and Declan James will be at Stereo Live in Dallas, Texas.
Right.
So if you're hearing this and you haven't heard about this, fucking go.
Like, we went the last time that he was in town with Declan, and my God, that was a beautiful compilation.
Yeah. And not just that, but just the fact that Dave puts on a really great mix, just the vibes in that motherfucker when he's up there and he's got command over the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Just fucking awesome.
Great experience.
Exactly. So if you're in Dallas and you're listening to this, because I know we have a lot of listeners up there, go check this show out at Stereo Live. You won't fucking regret it.
Absolutely.
And with that being said, let's get into this. So when this album came out, when we first heard it, we kind of had an inkling that this was a concept. It's obviously a concept. This is the latest entry in Notaker's Vessel series, which Genesis EP was kind of, I think, the foray into what he calls the Vessel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in his own words, like, you actually discussed this in the car earlier when we were just, grabbing food before we did this.
And I had not read up on anything.
Yeah, and that's what I loved about it.
Mind you.
Yeah. And he told me what he, had seen or gathered from listening, like the 5th or 6th time, today. So the concept, this is in Dave's words, like the concept behind this EP was expanding on the idea of the Vessel series. He created a story using the track list order, like the mood, the artwork. It's an ambiguous sci-fi tale about the Vessel. And what happens is the Vessel's AI experiences a fatal system error, and the Vessel travels through a wormhole, and this is how it happens. The corrupted AI becomes hostile toward the crew, and it forces them to kind of, jettison the Vessel to go into hypersleep. The remaining crew cut the power supply to the AI, and they have to travel back through the wormhole without any guidance. And this is just one, like Erebus I. Mm-hmm. So hopefully there's more to this story, and it will come out later.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to get into the track by track. What we do here on this series, if you're new to listening to us, is we take an album or EP by an artist we really like, and we break it down track by track. Give our thoughts on the track, the mood, how we feel about it, what we like, don't like, so on and so forth.
Go forth. Yeah.
And first up on Erebus I is the song Fatal System Error.
System error.
I fucking love that drop.
The way.
Yeah, but I mean, if you listen to the song up until this point, this is like just the hardest part of it.
Because literally the song Fatal System Error, and it just crashes.
And you're fucked. And then, of course, the cascading of the keyboards. This whole song just screams atmosphere. Mm-hmm. It screams atmosphere. It screams ambience. This song literally just kind of... You close your... I fall asleep to this album, dude. Mm-hmm. You close your eyes right there, and just it fucking takes you away.
And see, like I was explaining to you in the car, like on my way here, I actually zoned out to the feel of everything whenever I heard each song one by one. And basically my thought was, okay, something got aboard the ship and started to hack in, control, do whatever, and the alarms start going off basically. And it's like, okay, panic mode, let's get everybody up and going. Something's on the ship that doesn't need to be here. We got to take control of this situation. And then literally just everything goes from shit to there. So like it got that real good vibe. It was like panicky feel, very like just grief almost, like, oh my god, what's going on? I gotta do something about it.
Yeah, and I like it because the album itself being a concept, the songs themselves really tap into those emotions. You get that feel. The song is really dirty sounding. It's gritty. When we said he came out of left field with this, we didn't expect anything like this. Mm-mm. You hear signature Notaker in these songs, but you hear something so much more, and I think a little more aggressive even.
Oh, this one's definitely aggressive. The whole album is just, you hear a lot of those growls with the sound effects that he did, and just the glitchiness of the songs in general makes it more of like that untapped raw feeling, because it's just not it's not perfect. It's not like what's a good word for it?
It's not pristine.
It's not polished. Basically. Yeah, it feels so like damaged, like, which kind of fits the mood of everything. So it makes it work more so than normal.
Absolutely. This song, which I'll generally wait till probably the tail end of it to really like give my 2 cents on each song individually, but just I'll say what a hell of a fucking opening track.
Mm-hmm.
I really love this song, and from there, you get the fatal system error where the crew figures out, oh shit, something's fucked up, and the AI becomes corrupted.
In this part,
like I told you earlier, I am a sucker for that,
like that water droplet kind of sound.
Yep. As a drummer, I am again a sucker for percussive bits in any song, and then piano. I mean, obviously, there's so much going on here. You have like real prettiness behind it, but then you like again, it fits being corrupted. Like there's this beautiful stuff happening, and then just that low end growl coming.
And see, that's what I was about to say. Like, there's a sense of elegance with such a dark and like grungy kind of feel and title to the song. Because when you think corrupted, you think like just destroyed or damaged or whatever. But you get that kind of like airy background feeling with the kind of part, and it feels just very elegant, very like just low key, very like pristine. Especially when you think like whenever I thought about this part, the system got hacked by this AI that literally took over the whole ship, but it wasn't like a huge deal. It wasn't like this like super aggressive like AI. It was just this very subtle like entity that just like, I know what I'm doing. And it's not going to take long, so I'm just going to kind of like casually take my time and do this and this and this. It was very just like scary and fearful in a way, but in such a calm manner.
Yeah, and I think for that you need that dynamic. And this is a collaboration with the artist BlackGummy. This is one of two appearances of featured artists on this album,
which I didn't even know he existed until this album came out.
Yeah, and then you go listen to some of his stuff, and you figure out that he and Notaker's styles really mesh well. Mm-hmm. This song's a prime example of that, and I like the song, like I said a while ago, just for the juxtaposition of gorgeousness and then literally like corruption.
Yeah, like very beginning when we started it, that was probably my favorite part because you just have that very calming air to it, then it just kind of like glitches out, like twitching, and then it breaks into that heavy shit, and I'm like, okay, this song is probably my favorite song out of the whole album. And
as you said, this was the AI becoming like, oh, hey, you guys are fucked.
Yeah.
Like,
hi.
But you're not fucked in the way that you would think. He's just, he shows up in the vein of what I would picture if Jarvis was a dick, like an actual fucking dickhead. Like
I'm sorry I had to do this.
Sorry, not sorry. Put this ship into hyperdrive. Fuck you.
Here's my hypersleep. Come and fucking get it.
Come and get it, eh? And speaking of, this is the portion of the EP where the crew puts the ship into hypersleep. And already you want to go to dreamland.
Beautiful.
Elegant. You've got to love the trip hop feel of this song with the glitch elements.
Oh. That whole Sonic the Hedgehog sound effect.
Right. Oof. Again, a sucker for those little toms. And this motherfucker just carries you off into hypersleep.
But see, my perception of it was different than what was originally gave by Dave.
That was a rhyme.
Right.
It was awesome.
Yes. So, like he said, that they had to put the whole crew in the hypersleep to basically travel through the wormhole and come back and whatever. Well, my take on it was literally the system corrupted the whole ship enough to where he killed everybody but one person for some reason, the protagonist. And the protagonist wakes up from the hypersleep out of the pod, and the way the song progresses, it feels like he's in between the phase of like he's still dreaming from hypersleep and he's trying to get back to reality. So literally his mind just trips in and out from like reality in his mind to the reality in front of him. So he's stumbling out, like not knowing what's real or not. And he's like, what's going on, basically.
Yeah, and the more I sit and think about this, and the more I've listened to this, and the concept behind it and everything, not even so much like Dave's actual concept, but just the way that anybody, I think, could take away from this, man, this would be a great miniseries.
Oh, no.
Just...
Could you imagine him scoring music for like a mini sci-fi series?
I would love that.
Like, it doesn't matter what the sci-fi series is or anything. It's just he he's making the music for whatever sci-fi adventure is happening in front of us.
He's talented enough to do the shit.
Obviously.
Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is proof positive. This is a body of work that says, hey, fuckers, hire me. Mm-hmm. Bitch.
This is a trap for me to get a job.
That's right. You bastards. Oh, and then we kind of shift off from Hypersleep, and basically this is when the crew have to cut the power supply to the AI and travel back through the wormhole. But the way I took from it is Machina is like, this is like, oh, it comes off more aggressive. You know, like a fight with the AI. It comes off more like they're having to fucking like really think about how to do this because he's going to fuck them up. So this is Machina featuring Eminence.
And I purposely chose this part for this reason, that it's off-putting everything.
Right? But this right here is legit classic Notaker. If you listen to a lot of his earlier stuff, he's got this kind of, the drum breaks have, well, not drum breaks, but you know, the snares go away.
The patterns.
Yeah, the backbeat goes away, and the 1 and the 3 keep it up. So, but God, man, like
That rise.
yeah, exactly, man. And you know, dare I say this song is kind of like I'm trying to think of a good, like the backbone of this EP. Mm-hmm. If I really had to like think of a word for it, like I feel like like every song on here is really good in its own way, but I feel like this song is kind of like the anchor that holds it like in place.
This is the climax of the EP.
Yeah.
Which I can agree with. This is probably my second, under Corrupted, my favorite. And basically my take on it was like you were talking about, the conflict here. This is the tension, this is the panic mode that really hits the crew, or in my case, the protagonist. So what the protagonist is basically doing at this point, to me, he's navigating the ship, trying to figure out, you know, how to get to stop the corruption from happening, or to stop the AI from doing any more damage to the EREBUS I. So he's literally going through crawl spaces. He's, you know, going through stealth to try and basically get away from the defense system, from the guards that are, you know, like droids that are basically kind of patrolling the ship and whatnot. He's in this like very survival mode now. Like you can feel the pressure on him to like, okay, I have to save this ship because nobody else is around, so I must do this.
Yeah, it's like it's a sense of urgency.
Right. It's an emergency. It's very, you know, like I say, climactic. It's just that rise. Okay, what's going to happen from here on out? Like, is he going to make it? Or in this other case, is the crew going to make it through the wormhole? You know, what's going on? Right.
And again, it's a sense of urgency, and I think the music very well reflects that in this song. This is actually my second favorite one as well. But as far as, you know, production of this song, again, this is very much classic Notaker sound, but a very surprising collaboration with Eminence, who we haven't really heard from in a good bit. At least I haven't.
Not on Monstercat, at least, no.
Yeah, I mean, they may have been elsewhere, but, like, again, I haven't, and I feel terrible, like, if they have, because I haven't heard anything.
Right. Well, like you were talking about earlier with Monstercat mentioning that a lot of the artists, they dangle between, you know, production labels now.
Yeah, and I mean, it's good though. It frees people up to go elsewhere. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, it makes sense for this one to be on Mousetrap Recordings. Mm-hmm. You know, Deadmau5, which for those of you out there listening, like Mousetrap is Deadmau5's label,
right? And
Deadmau5 is really known for having kind of that harder edge to some of his stuff. So it makes sense.
I mean, he has like people like Rez on there too, so they have a lot of that same kind of trance house, progressive house, or bass house, or whatever you want to call it. So.
Yeah, and a lot of people have actually been comparing this album to Rez's work as well. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, I can see it, but I think Dave has that something special that goes along with it. That it's got its own. He's got his own signature to the sound, basically.
Right, more fine tuning.
It's not a tuna.
It's not a tuna. Tuna.
And this song, which I believe is, no pun intended, actually. Fuck you. Which I believe is the actual traveling through the wormhole, which we don't get a solid ending for this because obviously if it's Erebus I, there should be more. So the album kind of ends on a cliffhanger. And it ends with Believe. Right, I love the vocal work on that. Just the one thing, but still. And that's the thing about this one. Yes, I do believe. So, this song gradually gets faster and faster.
Mm-hmm. More engaging, more like...
It's thrilling.
Yeah. That urgency kicks in more here.
Yeah, and I mean, you can hear it getting faster and faster. And as they travel through the wormhole, you think, like, oh god, they're going without guidance. They have no fucking idea where they're going. So there's that, like, holy shit, we're going into the unknown, basically. We don't know if we're going to make it or not.
Right.
Well, I was going to say, I would say, like, the person saying believe is just kind of like, have faith we're going to make it, or believe we're going to make it. You know what I mean?
And it kind of coincides with what I thought of it, too. Like, the protagonist basically gets control of the ship after a long, grueling battle with the AI and starts to figure out, okay, the ship is starting to, fail here and there. There's a feeling of no hope, basically. But at the same time, there's something he can maneuver to wherever he needs to go in order to save the ship and himself from being stuck in space for however long it may be. So you get this, like, okay, figuring out where to go from here, finally figuring out what you can do, and then progressing towards that end goal. And that's why you get that slow to medium speed to fast speed, and just that constant, like, believe vocal in the background, just pushing you forward to think that, this is not the end of the hope. This is not the end of the line for you.
Yeah. Dude, and musically, you may see this, some of you out there may see it. There was a little bit of, like, a Pink Floyd vibe I got from this.
A little bit.
And I think vocally, and then some of the nuances in the background. Not necessarily, like, the string or, like, key percussive elements of it, but the actual just ambience of the whole thing. Kind of, it reminded me a little bit of like Pink Floyd circa like 1972, 73, when, like, before Dark Side of the Moon had come out, really, and that spacey vibe. Obviously spacey vibe, but for being such a simple track, it's effective. It's effective. It gets the story across, the point across, the feeling across, the mindset, the atmosphere, the whole thing.
Which, it goes with the story, it goes with the whole concept and everything, and it does a beautiful job, like you said, of doing that. However, if I had to, like, rate this song, it's probably my lowest, mainly because of it's continuously the same thing, but just getting faster. So if I had to pick it apart in my manner, like I said, it doesn't do enough for me as a standalone, production wise per se. However, I'm not dismissing it as a quality track because of that. Like I said, it punches where it needs to in the progression of the story itself and the album ending, because it does leave you in that trail end, the cliffhanger, what's going to happen next feeling.
Yeah, and I think this track obviously is, honestly, is best enjoyed when listened to as a whole with the rest of it. I mean, if that makes perfect sense.
It works better as a collaboration with everything else, not as a standalone, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
But yeah, as far as the whole the EP as a whole, Fatal System Error that's my absolute favorite track on this album. I think we kind of had that discussion with the pilot EP Shadow Task, how Kane was yours
and yours was Locked.
Yeah. because I think I can see how yours is your favorite because like I think we said even on that episode, it has to do with just I think our personalities. So with Fatal System Error for me, I listen to a lot of shit. Like we both listen to a lot of different styles of music. As far as what I got raised on a lot of like classic rock and like old school heavy metal and shit like that. Which again, like I listen to a lot of obviously we listen to a lot of EDM. There's a lot of hip hop. There's trip hop. There's blues. There's R&B. You name it, I probably listen to it. And I think the reason why Fatal System Error is my favorite is because it carries that heaviness with it. It's got that I'm going to fuck you up kind of attitude. Just the kind of the same way that I felt about Locke on Pilot's EP.
Right. Me, with Corrupted, it was just that blending of the subtlety, elegance with this like grungy, dark kind of approach to it, that punch that was meshed so well together. And like it wasn't just the song itself that was done well, it was the fact that like I said, the font wasn't traditional. It made it reflect how the song felt, for one, and two, the artwork was pretty cool too, because it was just that the vessel symbol, but it was just lit up in red and it was in a stage kind of set up, and it just looked like, okay, something's wrong here. Like it gives you that feeling like, okay, there's definitely something amiss,
Yeah.
But Machina is slowly like getting right at the cusp of Corrupted, because you get that sense of urgency, that sense of pressure, that danger, that like, okay, what the hell do we do here? Like, how do we take control of the situation? And with Eminence kind of blending in with them, it made it seem more like, okay, a sequence of like just all those emotions done right, basically.
Yeah. And speaking of, like you said, you mentioned artwork and shit earlier. Can we please talk about the fucking artwork to this EP?
Mm-hmm.
I think some people would become polarized by that, but fuck, I love it. I love that the art from each single is featured so prominently on the front of it.
Right. Which it threw me off for a second, because I'm used to seeing like a cohesive art for like the whole album, not each individual piece being segmented into like a collage or a photo grid, basically. But it does prove a point. You're trying to see the progression of the story on the artwork, so you have an idea of what to expect when you start listening to it.
Yeah, and it does a great job. Now, I mean, if you look at it, it doesn't like cascade in the correct order of the album itself, obviously, but I like the specific placement of things. Like, because you can see how on Fatal System Error, it's a blueprint of the fucking vessel.
Mm-hmm.
The dead center of it is the vessel itself. The top right is not Fatal System Error, I'm sorry, Machina.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the red and black of Corrupted. And then you see about half of Dave's face on the bottom left.
Goofy ass Hypersleep Dave.
We love you.
Yeah.
But God, dude, if I had to give this album a rating as far as just in comparison to his prior work, I definitely would rate it like a 3.75 to a 4 as far as comparison to his other work, because I feel like cohesively, as a story, yes, it works. Like you said, Believe is probably my least favorite as well. And I don't know, but like I would just go ahead and give it a solid 4 just because it's he took a risk kind of stepping outside of like what he usually does, but he did it well.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all of his releases, be it singles or group efforts, again, like being so different, it's hard for me to put this. It's almost at a tie with Genesis for me, just personally. But I love Genesis so much, though, as an EP itself. That's a very high standard to set for yourself as an artist. But I think he's done a fine job with it on this one. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my 2 cents on it.
My rating's a lot higher than yours. I gave him a 4.5. The only reason why it's not perfect is because, like I said, Believe just kind of not so much of a finished piece for me to like give it like that perfect feel to it, because every song up until that point was just masterful to me. And to compare it to like Genesis does a lot of things right. I just like how EREBUS I made it cohesive. It made it feel like there was more to it than just 5 songs. It was a drawn out like experience. It was a journey that you had to literally imagine in your head what was going on, and if not following what Dave told you, just figure out what it brought to your mind, and then go from there and think, okay, this would be really cool to like play with, you know, a space-based game, or watch something that's, you know, a, you know, Space Odyssey, or you know, whatever you want to call it, just in general. But this album does a hell of a lot better to me than Genesis, for the fact that there's more of that bond, that cohesiveness, that just that meshing of everything together to make one experience rather than just like a segmentation.
Yeah, and again, I don't knock it at all. And, you know, like I said, it sits up there with Genesis for me. The only, like I said, for me to give it a 4, you know, the only reason I would say like a 4, again, was for belief. But, you know, looking at it as a cohesive album itself, abso-fucking-lutely, this is a goddamn good listen. It's available for streaming. It's on Spotify. It's on iTunes. In fact, if you go down in the show notes below, we're going to put some links to all of Dave's social media, like his Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, his Twitch account, if I can find that one. His Twitter, did I say Twitter account?
Yeah.
Instagram, I mean. So
all the social media.
Yeah, we'll do all that, and then I'll also throw something in there that will give you a link to any streaming service that you may use out there for Apple users, or any kind of Android users. If you use just PC, or, you know, anything like that, for however you listen to music, we'll put a link there for you to find EREBUS I, because this album deserves all your fucking money.
Oh, of course.
Throw that shit. Make it rain
on Dave.
Yes. Make it fucking rain on Dave.
Even for all you people in Dallas, make it rain on him.
God damn it. Go. Seriously, go to this fucking concert. Go check this out. You know he's going to be fucking spinning shit off of this album on there. And rumor on the street is that he's going to be testing out some new stuff.
Oh, like he did last show whenever he came to us.
Yeah, because, and you know, it's funny because I wish I could, like, actively really recall some of the new stuff that he dropped on us, because, you know, part of me is like, fuck, did he drop maybe early cuts of this album?
It's possible. I do have some of them on video, so.
Yeah, so.
I have to go listen to it again.
Yeah, same here. I think that's all for EREBUS I as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, because it's taking off right now.
Is that it? Is it flying away?
Mm-hmm. Like you hear the humming in the background, just.
Oh, and there it goes.
Bye, Dave.
Okay. He's like, okay, bye. All right. So we're going to give you the rundown how you can follow us on social media.
Be prepared.
Are you ready?
No.
No. Motherfucker.
It don't matter. Go.
It don't matter. Go. Facebook.com/SuperMediaBros. Twitter.com/SuperMediaBros. Did I fuck up?
Repeat it.
Twitter.com/SuperMedia_Bros.
Ah.
It's been a long day.
Yar.
Please don't hate me.
I don't.
I know you don't. I'm asking the people that are listening, the 2 people that are listening to this podcast. Please don't hate me.
And don't hate them, Dave. We're trying.
Please, we're trying really hard.
As you listen to us on EREBUS I.
That's right. Instagram.com/SuperMediaBros podcast.
Yeah.
Come look at our stupid pictures.
Like, how can you not at this point?
How many times do we have to remind you to come look at our stupid pictures?
Every single week.
Every week.
Do we have to post a picture on there to remind you to look at the pictures?
You know what I'm going to do? I don't know if I'm really going to do it, but it would be really funny if I just posted a picture for every word in that statement. Look. Or actually, sorry. Come look at our stupid
fucking
picture.
You forgot a word!
I didn't say stupid fucking. Come look at our stupid pictures. Just fucking do it.
Right now.
Yeah. That's... See, like we said a couple weeks ago, if you skipped through any of that shit, you've missed a lot of the fuckery that comes along with it.
And what is wrong with you? Everything.
Get out of my head. I was going to say everything. Everything is wrong. Everything is awful.
Everything sucks.
And you're part of a team.
This is why we're a duo.
That's right. Oh, my God.
Yikes.
Yeah. So, as mentioned earlier in the show, in 2 weeks' time, we will come back with the fourth installment of the For Your Reviewing Pleasure in-show series, which will feature Muzzy's The Cascade EP.
Yes.
Which we can't fucking wait to talk about either.
Bring it.
However, next week features the fourth installment of our Cult Cinema Showdown series, which apparently is a goddamn roaring success.
Yay.
We are going to be pitting the two films known as Fatal Pulse by Damon Packer against motherfucking Natural Born Killers.
Uh-oh. Will it be fatal for both of us? Or will we kill it? Will they kill each other? Who's going to have a pulse at the end of this?
We have no idea.
Fuck! You won't either.
That's right.
So
when...
Yes.
Yeah, so look out next week for Fear Thrillers and Born Killers. It'll be here.
I love that title.
Nah, no.
Fear Thrillers and Bone Killers.
Fun fact, that movie was called Untitled Yuppie Fear Thriller at one point, just in the birthing stages of it.
Yuppie.
That's right. All right, I think I'm going to shut the fuck up now.
Okay. He's seriously shutting up. He's going to make me do all the talking. So, this has been the Super Media Brothers podcast. He's been Midnight Agent Raw. I've been Okami. Bitches, shades on. We're off.